Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome or welcome back to Stars Aligned Oracle YouTube channel. Cat Star here with your money career reading for the week of May 13th through 19th. As a reminder, my readings are for entertainment and are general in nature. They may or may not resonate for everybody, so please do take what is for you and leave what isn't for those of you liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much. It does help others to be able to see these messages that might not otherwise. So while I'm shuffling the cards, I just have a couple of things. For starters, as we all know, today is Friday the 13th, and I just have kind of a few thoughts about that. As far as Friday the 13th goes for me, it's a very auspicious time. I've never, ever bought into the idea, the myth, that Friday the 13th is an unlucky day. And I really invite you to look at that dynamic and see, does it make more sense for you to wake up in the morning and decide that because it is Friday the 13th, that it's automatically going to be a really bad day or it's bad luck, that sort of thing? Or is it more beneficial for you to think about it as an auspicious time, a time where beautiful, magical, wonderful things can happen, where miracles can come up, where beautiful happenings can happen? To me, it's just, it hasn't ever made sense to think about Friday the 13th as an awful day. Why would I start the day, go into the day, begin thinking about a day based on that bad luck? That has never ever been my jam. And so I invite you to think kind of the same way if you choose, if that feels right for you. All right. Now, also, we are on the cuspis of 4,000 subscribers. And I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you that has subscribed to the channel and that is really here supporting, really showing up and being a part of the community here. This is such a beautiful place to be, and I'm so thankful and grateful for each and every one of you. And I just wanted to really say that and put out my appreciation for being here, for being part of the channel, part of the community, and for really, just having that or sharing the energy with me. I'm truly honored. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the reading. So you guys have a lot of swords going on here during this time. That means you're in your head. So let's go ahead and see. The overall energy for the reading is focus on your priorities. And this says, where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you, which may produce a feeling of anxiety unless you give them the time and attention they and you deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you feel better and more confident. So the overall energy for the week here, Aquarius, is to focus on your priorities. What are your priorities as far as money and career go, and or as far as life in general goes? Are you working towards something? Have you set goals? Are you aimlessly just working, getting up, doing the same thing every single day? Where are you wanting to go? What are you wanting to do? What are the decisions you've made? How much money would you like in your bank account or as your monthly income? Can you double that? Of course you can, but do you believe that at this point? Focusing on your priorities is going to really move you towards that final destination, which is never final as far as I'm concerned. It's always movement. There's always cycles. There's always a completion and a new beginning. But this is going to move you into that life that you know that you want, that you desire, and that you deserve, Aquarius, because when we are really tuned into the priorities, tuned into where it is that we are going, what we are choosing for ourselves, what we are building, then we are really tuned in and also aligned with our deserving. All right, so that is the overall energy. This is really amazing energy, Aquarius. Now, the nature of the present situation is currently at the Nine of Swords. So with that Nine of Swords, Aquarius, some of you have really been feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit kind of sad or what is the word that wants to come through here? Some of you have been feeling kind of as if you're kind of not really in a place that you would like to be, right? And you have these 8 dark birds up here, right? But then you also have this clear light one, this white bird. That is that glimmer of hope that is shining through for you here. So whether you are feeling like you are in financial debt, whether you feel like you're in a dead end job, there is that, right? All of these things, this is a worry, an anxiety, a fear coming through here, but there's also that glimmer of hope, that white or light colored bird there that is really, really coming in almost to shine a light. So that is kind of the nature of your present situation here, Aquarius. You may be feeling a bit down, a bit fearful, a bit anxious about money, about your career, about your life in general at this time. But there is that one shining white bird that is coming in to really, really work this over, to put in that little glimmer of hope, to really assist you in rising up. Now, your attitude towards what's happening, Aquarius, is the 3 of Swords. Isn't that very interesting? Very much within this headspace with all of the swords that are coming in here. So your current attitude towards this situation or what is happening with money and career right now within that 3 of Swords, Aquarius, is really there's kind of some conflict. There's a potential conflict between your head with that Swords energy, your mind, and your heart, right? With the emotional here, with that big heart in the background. There's a conflict between what it is that feels illogical for you. And do remember, we've talked about this in the past, that logical isn't always the way to go. You really have to tune into yourself, decide what works the best for you. But sometimes coming from your heart space, what is actually calling you, your soul calling, what is potentially destined since it was placed on your heart, is the better way to go. So your current attitude towards what's happening, towards the situation, is almost in conflict within yourself, within your head, and within your heart. So this is kind of heavy energy for you to be in, Aquarius, but it's not someplace that you're going to stay. And once you are aware of it, you can begin to either tune into the headspace more if that's where you want to be, and it is kind of where you're at during this week, or that heart space, that soul space, where that kind of drive or that pulling force may actually be. Remember, sometimes the next step doesn't always seem logical, Aquarius, and it's okay to take it anyway. It's okay, as sometimes illogical things are the things that really, really kind of change the landscape for you, all right? So this is gorgeous energy, kind of like going against, if you were here for the beginning of the reading, the main narrative for Friday the 13th is that it's a bad day and it's a bad luck and all this other stuff. Yet my narrative is that this is a very auspicious day, a very auspicious time. How often does Friday the 13th come through? It doesn't come through every month. It doesn't come through even every couple of months. It's a very special, in my mind, time. It's a very special day where beautiful miracles can come through, where blessings come in, where there's so much luck around us, surrounding us. And I really, really, again, back from the beginning of the reading or the beginning of the video, you get to choose. Do you want to wake up and think it's a very going to be a shitty day no matter what, and there's just bad luck and everything's going to happen wrong? Or do you want to look at it the other way? The choice is yours. I'm just putting it out there, kind of the way that I think about it, the way that I look at it, and inviting you to tune in with yourself and see if holding on to this idea that Friday the 13th is what traditionally has been told is what really feels good for you, or if you feel like it's beneficial at all. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just putting that out there. All right. This is the key element here, the Knight of Wands, excuse me, the key element for you to consider during this time, Aquarius. And that Knight of Wands is really about your passion. So tuning into that passion, well, Wands itself is passion, but this is that passion and that energy for the work that you do. So are you passionate? Are you feeling are in the space of really being uh, recognized, or are having that recognition, having that passion, that drive that keeps you going, where you're excited to jump out of bed every morning and do the damn thing. This is all about really, really having this understanding and or considering where you're falling. Is the money that you're receiving really, really good for what you're doing at this time, Aquarius, but your soul is like beginning to kind of um, feel as if it's trapped? That's what's coming through. Um, or is it that you're doing a job that isn't something that even is using your skills to the most, the higher level that you are sure and know that you are capable of doing? This is really something to consider during this time, just like considering Friday the 13th and kind of where you, what you think about that. Is this working towards you? Is this working for you? This is really making brave new decisions within considering that kind of a pros and cons list. Is what you're currently doing, whether it has to do with a job, entrepreneurship, and or the money that you receive, is it really lighting you up? Is it really holding that feeling of passion within you again, where you're ready to spring out of bed every morning and you lose track of time? Consider that and think about where your heart, where your soul has been calling you. All right. Ooh, gorgeous energy. Now, in the obstacle, you have the Eight of Swords. You have the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords here. In the obstacle, you have the Eight of Swords, Aquarius, and within that Eight of Swords, the information that is coming through as the obstacle is that some of you are really feeling dependent on your current job or the current income, however that is happening, feeling very dependent, feeling very, again, trapped. We've already discussed that, where you're feeling like everybody else is kind of pulling the strings within your career, within your financial situation, and you're just sitting out here thinking, what in the actual hell? Right? Right? So you get to pull the strings, Aquarius, if that even resonates for you. Hopefully you're understanding what I'm putting out here. But this is really, this Eight of Swords is really just about you having these kind of feelings where you don't feel like you can change what you're doing, or you feel or fear that you may lose any income that you have by doing that. And this is really an obstacle. I've talked about this before on the channel, where I stayed within a job, within a position for almost 20 years. And at the end, the only reason I was staying was because I had a personalized parking place. That is not a reason to do it, Aquarius. So really look at this, notice if this is how you are feeling, and then see what you may be able to do to shift that. Remember that you excuse me, from this very beginning, remember, focus on your priorities. Is your priority to spend, more time with your kids than working if you have children, to have more days off than on? Is it, vacation? Is it healthcare? Whatever it is, what are your priorities? Is your current position, now I'm not trying to talk you out of your current position or your current income, just putting this, that is what is coming through out there for you, but is your current position ticking all those boxes as far as what your priorities are, where your focus is, and where you're choosing to go? Because if they're not, that is what is coming up as your obstacle. Other people pulling the strings, and or you being in this place where you are believing that this is what has to be, that maybe can't switch positions, or you can't lose that income. I get it. I get it. I've done it myself. But this is the obstacle. This is where you need to, see if this is kind of holding you back, Aquarius. All right. And the next card you have here is the Tower. Wow. So this is the recommended action, Aquarius. The Tower is the recommended action. This is, again, this is amazing. And I know that some of you may be seeing all the swords, and this tower and thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. Again, I invite you to think about the kind of ideas regarding Friday the 13th and decide for yourself if you think that the tower moment is something that is very, very bad for you, right? In traditional, the tower is considered kind of a catastrophe, that sort of thing. Yet I've never seen it that way. I've always seen it as really, really taking away or tearing down, right, as far as the tower goes, what is no longer working and beginning to build from a more solid foundation. That is how I have always looked at the tower. So you get to decide how you are looking at it. Now, as far as the tower goes, for money and career, it's coming through here that there may actually be a loss of sorts, but the loss is a gain for you as well, Aquarius. So your recommended action is to really stay in alignment with your priorities, where focus, where you're, moving, where you're deciding to go. Stay in alignment with that. And whatever falls away is meant to fall away for you. This is really, really amazing, gorgeous energy. This is almost like the rise of Aquarius 2.0, where things are falling away that are no longer needed, no longer beneficial, no longer supporting. You've gone through all of this. You're focusing on your priorities. And what needs to fall away with this tower, Aquarius, is it's going to fall away naturally. And as the action that is recommended, or the recommended action here, Aquarius, it's coming through to let it, to focus on your priorities, and to know that whatever is going away is actually bringing in new, beautiful, abundant energy for you. So that is really, really gorgeous. And the likely outcome for you here, Aquarius, is the Two of Wands. Excuse me, my throat kind of, the Two of Wands. And this is really, letting whatever's falling away fall away, and taking steps towards this new beginning. This is planning, right? You're focusing on your priorities. You're moving through all kind of this headspace, the logical, the illogical, and the passion. And you're really planning towards what it is that you do want, what it is you're creating, what it is you're building, that new gain, that new foundation. Everything else falling away, falling, apart, falling away, so that you can move into the space of really moving into having the world right here at your hands, or in your hands. This is really having kind of a balance and allowing for things to move in the way they are meant to. Things are not meant to stay the same. That is something that we know for sure. This is really taking those first steps, holding on to those dreams, and moving towards that long-term financial or career goal. So this is your likely outcome. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous reading, Aquarius. Again, it's an amazing reading as it goes deep and it pulls out where it is, right, that you can focus, right? Because you are focusing on your priorities, your head and your heart, kind of that conflict. It's really bringing it all together, and it's really bringing through this rise of Aquarius 2.0. Sometimes we feel like once that tower comes, once things start to fall away, that, it's going to be bad, or it's going to be unlucky, as in Friday the 13th. I think this is beautiful that this reading came through on this actual date, as it kind of shows that progression. And that you have a choice also with the twos, with the choices as well. You have a choice. You have a choice. You can see it one way, or you can choose to see it the other way, Aquarius. Be sure to choose the way that is beneficial for you, that is soothing for you, that feels graceful and full of self-love for you, and that really, really works from your passion, what it is you're passionate about, and what it is you are choosing to focus on and choosing to prioritize within your life, and taking those first steps, planning and taking those first steps towards that. All right. I do intend this resonated with you and for you. If it did, please do hit the like button and share this video. It does help others to be able to see these messages that might not otherwise. Also, feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload new readings. It is free for you, and it does help me, your girl, out. It also helps the community to grow, which is gorgeous, gorgeous. That's more energy that we each get to share in that. Again, I am so honored, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being part of the community, for taking time out of your day and sharing time with me for these readings. As always, I do wish you lots of hope, lots of joy, and lots of love with all of your current and future endeavors, and I'll see you in the next reading.